this short demo, I will introduce the new sub-process activity that we have brought in the 2308 release. So as you can see, I've created a process flow here to create a purchase requisition for some IT equipment. The process flow uses a sub-process to containerize a bunch of different activities that are actually responsible for communicating the purchase order request to a supplier. Let's just start at the beginning, actually. So first of all, our end user is going to create a purchase requisition. That requisition will either be approved or rejected by their line manager. If it's approved, we're going to create a requisition in our system, and then we're going to invoke this process, which is responsible for communicating the PO to suppliers. Now, as you can see, we're using a sub-process here to containerize these steps. And we're doing so because one of the main benefits of using the sub-process activity is that it allows you to group related activities together to improve the readability of your process. So, all of these related activities are in this container. In the container, we'll create a purchase order. We'll send that purchase order to a supplier. If the purchase order is accepted, we'll communicate back to the requester. Otherwise, if the item's out of stock, we'll actually invoke a secondary sub-process, which we'll see in a second. So let's talk about some of the other benefits as to why you might want to use activities, why you might want to use the sub-process activity. So we talked about one key benefit, and that being grouping related activities together and improving readability. The second benefit is when you want to take collective action on all of these tasks. So in this particular case, what you can see is I have a boundary event for the sub-process that's going to take a particular action based on all of these tasks. In this case, what I have configured is a simple timer event that says, hey, if all of these tasks take longer than 5 minutes, take my process flow down this alternate path. And in this case, we're just going to notify an admin of processing delays. But this is important, right? Boundary events give us the capability to take action on a group of tasks that are containerized in a sub-process. Okay, so that's the second benefit. The third benefit is that you can also model things once, but actually reuse this design for multiple iterations. So if you see on a sub-process activity, we support the multi-instance concept, where you can generate multiple instances. And in my particular case, I've chosen to initiate those instances sequentially. And I'm doing so based on an array. So based on the items ordered as part of the purchase requisition, for each item that's ordered, we're going to go through this sub-process. And then optionally, if you want, you can also specify a condition that will actually terminate the execution. So in this particular case, I'm only interested in items where the supplier is Apple. Okay. So, let's now expand this little sub-process and then we'll run it. So again, here, if the item is out of stock, we're going to see if there's a like item that's available from the supplier, and if there is, we're going to ask the requester to actually accept that like item. So of course we can expand this further, but for now I wanted to just keep it at this level. So now that we've kind of talked about these three main advantages of using sub-processes, let's go to the runtime workspace and execute it. So here I am within my workspace. I'll just search for this process. Which is this one here. And so I'm going to fill out this purchase requisition. So I might need some new IT equipment for some reason. And there's a bunch of laptops here for me to choose from. I'm going to choose this one, and then I'm going to choose a peripheral. Yep, an Apple mouse sounds good. So now I've made my request. I'm going to submit it. And this is going to go to my manager or my line manager for approval. My line manager will receive a human task to approve the request. So again, if I expand the form and then we have a look at what I asked for, my manager can see, my shopping cart effectively. And in this case, we're going to approve it. Okay. So now, let's see. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. I want to show you what sub-process execution looks like from an audit point of view. So hence why I'm running this and I'm bringing up the audit here. So the process is now on this human task called accept like item, but we'll talk about that more in a second. So if I scroll through the audit, you can see that the process has arrived at the sub-process activity, and that's actually had two parallel executions. Because if you remember that for each item, we're going to trigger the sub-process, and that's effectively what we're seeing here. The execution of the sub-process twice. So the first time that this process is executed, you can see all of the activities within a sub-process, and they kind of, come as a nested container of activities, right? So you have the normal activities in the parent process, and whenever you see a sub-process, it will come as this nested container. You see all of the activities within it. Again, you get the input-output visibility. In this particular case, we're calling a service task, so you can see all the details. But effectively, what's happened in the first iteration is that my process has gone down this path, the happy path, for the first item. But for the second item, it's actually gone down this alternate path. And so if I see the second iteration of the sub-process, here's where you can see that it's actually hit the item out of stock sub-process, which is this sub-process that we expanded on here. And that's currently where it's at, because if I bring up this human task here, we'll see that task in the nested sub-process. And again, in this particular task, it's asking the requester to accept a like item. So the white mouse is no longer available, and the supplier is offering us the black mouse instead. So this is an example of what you can expect sub-process behavior to look like in the audit. And also within design time. So I hope that was useful. Just to kind of finish off this demo, I'll quickly go into analytics. I'll search for my process, and I'll show you what sub-process looks like there. So I'll just stick to the tabular view for now. But effectively, from a sub-process point of view in analytics, all of the activities that are have executed within the sub-process will just come up in our table. And again, we'll have that full visibility of any activity. So for example, here's the accept like item human task, the create purchase order a service task that's executed as part of the sub-process is also available here. So you have that complete visibility of the activities that also occur within a sub-process within analytics. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this demo. Thank you for watching.